Was it a difficult decision when you decided to come into the South African market? How many years ago? 13 years ago?
No, no, we have been here for the last 25 years.
20, longer?
Yeah, in the African continent.
In the African continent. What about in South Africa?
South Africa, we have been, ever since apartheid went out,
right.
we've been here for 16 years or so.
And the experience so far, certainly coming into a market where the European car makers are very, very strong indeed.
No, I think we have one of the reasons why we came to South Africa as a group, as a Tata group, is that we do believe that South Africa and also the other countries in the African continent are the geographies of the future, just like India and China are the geographies, in where the growth is extremely strong. And we expected the South Africa also to grow very strongly. India and South Africa have had long history of relationships. There is a tremendous people-to-people contact. There is a mutual trust. So we believe that South Africa is a place for us to do business.
Yeah. Now last year, because of the recession, we saw car sales coming under pressure.
Yes.
But one of the surprises was the performance of the Asian car makers. I certainly know that Kia as well as Hyundai did extremely well in that environment. We had results from one of the companies listed on the stock exchange here. What about Tata? How was that year?
You see, on behalf of Tata Motors, Tata International distributes primarily commercial vehicles, light commercial vehicles and heavy commercial vehicles. We did
when I think of Tata, I think Indica.
I know. We have brought some Indica cars here, but the majority of our sales is actually in the commercial vehicles. We did go down last year, but for the last 4-5 months, there has been a very good pickup. And we are doing much better than what we did, say, even year before last.
Did you get any kick out of the World Cup?
Yes, of course. And I think our vehicle sales have improved post the World Cup also.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why you're in South Africa, yes, it's for the South African market, but also South Africa is the doorstep to Africa, isn't it?
Absolutely correct.
How is that Africa strategy coming along, and how is it going to be implemented? Are we looking here at organic growth, in other words, slowly building up over the years, or are we looking at a leap?
So far, our growth has been more organic. But we would definitely like to look at some acquisitions,
sure.
Both in South Africa and other parts of Africa. And many of our companies, ever since Tata International came into South Africa 16 years ago, many of our companies, Tata Motors is here, Tata Communications is here in the form of Neotel, Tata Consultancy Services is here, Indian Hotels is here. We just inaugurated a hotel in Cape Town day before yesterday, a new Taj Hotel in Cape Town. So our South African strategy is really to become part of the development process of each of the country in the African continent. If I may say so, we are not here to take away minerals, or we are not here to take away wealth from these nations. Africa is a very richly endowed nation in terms of many minerals. And what we want to do is to come and participate in the growth of the country by bringing in our expertise, our technology, our know-how in operations in variety of sectors, and Tatas are in many sectors. As I said, telecommunications, hotels, steel, automobiles, information technology, chemicals, and so on and so forth. So we would like to come to South Africa. Definitely we are here. We want to grow in South
sure.
Africa along with the South African growth. We are already present in some 11 countries of Africa.
That was the next question, because I was going to ask you where in Africa you're looking to next.
As of now, we are in Tanzania, we are in Zambia, Zimbabwe, we are in Ghana, we are in Senegal, we are in Ivory Coast, we are in Nigeria. So these are some of the countries where we are. And we are going to grow in each of these countries.
Yeah.
We also would like to look at newer geographies where we haven't gone yet.
Before we talk about perhaps the segments that you'd like to grow, amongst the countries that you've mentioned, where do you see the growth coming from? I mean, when everyone talks about Africa, they talk about Nigeria, obviously because of the size of its population. But we do know that there are other pockets of growth which have been coming along. For instance, we can talk about Ghana, we can talk about the action that we've been seeing in Mozambique. Tanzania is also another exciting case.
No, Tanzania is one, definitely. Mozambique, we have a Tata Steel, one of our group companies, has a major stake in one of the coal mining companies over there. We are looking at a biofuel project in Mozambique. We are investing in a power plant project in Zambia. We want to definitely grow much more in Nigeria, sell more vehicles, trade in pharmaceutical items. We want to bring in bicycles, which we are selling today. We want to bring in some engineering items. So there are a number of these opportunities available here.
Let's talk numbers here.
Yeah.
How much are you investing into the continent? We can talk about 2010, let's talk into 2011.
I think our investment so far among all our companies put together would be about $1 billion.
$1 billion. That's for 2010.
Yeah, I would say in the last 2 years.
The last 2 years.
Yeah.
What about in the coming up period? What are you looking at in terms of trying to expand that footprint? Because you're talking about the potential of going into countries where you currently are not present.
I can't give you a number in terms of
Sure.
exact investment that we have, but our investment in African countries in the next 5 years, for example, would definitely be more than double of what it has been in the last 5 years.
Sure.
That is definitely going up more.
Now, of course, when you talk about Tata, immediately people think about the cars. Like I said, I know about the Indica, but people don't know about these other segments that you also in the hotels, the steel, and etc., etc. Where do you see growth in terms of that portfolio of products that you have?
We see growth in automobiles. We also want to enter areas like agriculture, which is very important for African countries. We see growth in infrastructure creation. We want to examine how we can participate in the infrastructure creation of the African countries, including South Africa. We see telecom as an important segment for growth. We see information technology, and I believe that as the country grows, the requirements of IT and the requirement of sophisticated IT will increase enormously. We see huge opportunity there. Our company, Tata Consultancy Services, is already here. So these are the areas that we are looking at.
Can I sneak in a question and ask if you're going to list here at some point?
Can't answer that question just
Another
now.
time.
Yeah.